Hi, you guys. This is Melanie Dawn, and you're listening to Dawn of Wisdom. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode number 29, and I'm going to continue my series on the ABCs of self-care. And of course, you know these are my self-care, but I'd love it if they helped you. By sharing my stories with you, I hope they help you through your journey through this life here on Earth. It's important to have help. It's important to have others that are on your page. And yay, I'm here for you. No matter what you believe, we can learn from each other. And today is the letter D, so I'm going to do it on dreams. I love dreams. To me, they tell a story. They can teach us about ourselves. Our mind is open to possibilities. These are my beliefs. Listen to your dreams, wake up, and write them down. Very important that we write them down because we have so many during the night and we forget. But some are so vivid, so profound that it is very important that we write them down and we can go back to them later, and it's just really cool. I often ask those who have passed to speak to me in my dreams, and I often hear them. I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but it is true. I'd like to share a few of my dreams, my experiences with you. If you feel compelled to tell me yours, contact me, Dawn of Wisdom, one word, on Instagram and Facebook. I've had many dreams that have come, dreams where I have made a connection with a loved one. I'm going to share a couple with you. For many years after my mom passed, I would go to sleep asking her to speak to me. I remember stories that she used to tell that she would ask her mom to speak with her, and towards her, in her later years, she said it just never happened. But I asked her often for many years to speak to me in my dreams, and one night I heard her voice. It was so clear, yet I could not understand what she was saying. I woke feeling a little sadness. I wanted to see her face. I didn't see her face. I just heard her voice. That same day, I went for a walk in town, which I have done for many years. I came across a little dress shop that I've never seen before. I thought it was new, called Luxe. I walked in and asked the lovely lady behind the counter, "How long have you been here?" And she said, "Over 10 years. I was stunned. It was like, what? Why had I never noticed the store? I just never noticed it. And I think it was probably the window displayed. It looked like, I'm going to say it, older people's clothes, even though I'm older. But still, when I walked in, it was full of adorable clothes, bohemian jewelry, just the kind of stuff my mom and I would shop in. As I strolled through, I felt this presence, and standing next to me was my mom, dressed in one of her favorite little hippie outfits. She was looking at the jewelry, which was so her style. She always wore these big bohemian earrings and necklaces, and she was just such a cute little person, and she loved to be different and dress different. We didn't speak. We just continued to stroll through the store like we often did. It was such a beautiful experience, and my years of asking her to visit me had come to be. I haven't had this experience since, but that's okay. She will come to me again in my dreams. I just know it. I feel when we ask, it happens. Maybe not as quick as we would like, but I trust it will happen. It started with a dream. And then it became real. The next dream I will tell you about chokes me up to this day, so if I sound like I might cry, that is why. I've had horses most of my life. My last horse before I retired his name was Noche. He was a big, beautiful Spanish Arabian, and he was perfect. We often went on all-day trail rides with friends, up into the mountains, over to the ocean. We crossed rivers. He trusted me and I trusted him. One beautiful Saturday morning, my friends and I Planned a long trail ride along the river and towards Three Rivers Mountains, up into the mountains, a trip we'd taken hundreds of times. I'd had an uneasy dream the night before that Noche and I fell into the river. I woke feeling anxious, but I chalked it up to my fear of water. Packed the horses up, headed out on our all-day ride. When we arrived at the river, I noticed it was higher than normal. Our horses were excellent swimmers, so again I ignored my own intuition. Halfway across the river, Noche flipped over. I fell deep into the water and panicked. My friend grabbed me, put me on the back of her horse. I then looked up and Noche was on his side, being forced down and into the deep water. He was drowning. I can't believe I'm doing this without crying, but it feels good. My other friend, who was once an Olympic swimmer, jumped off her horse and swam to Noche. She grabbed onto his reins and dragged him to the bank. He was coughing and gasping for air. He stood up and froze, would not move. He was in shock. I know I needed to go into the water and walk him out. It was very difficult to do, but I knew he would listen to me because he trusted me. He was immediately covered in blankets. I should go back. We walked out. He walked out with me with full trust, and he was immediately covered in thick blankets. The vet was there to meet us, thanks to my beautiful friend who'd called him. An IV was started, and he was rushed to the hospital. Noche survived that day. He had no complications, no problems afterwards, and returned to that same trusting horse he'd always been. But I was not okay. For weeks afterward, I had vivid dreams that Noche was being pulled into the black water as I watched him drown. I would wake sick, anxious, crying. I was fearful of sleep. Then one day a friend suggested I see a doctor who specialized in dream. His name was Dr. Bjork. I'll never forget him. So I went and saw him. He was a soft-spoken, sweet man. He had a pen and paper. I cried. I told him my ongoing dream. He listened while I cried and shared. He just listened. Then he began to draw. He drew water and a horse flying from the water, a horse with wings. He told me water represented change. He told me to let Noche go under into the deep, dark water. I was fearful, but I was determined. For days, maybe weeks, I visualized this every night before I went to bed. I visualized him being dragged under, going deep down into the dark water. And then it happened. I had a dream, a vivid dream. To this day, I still have this vision. I let Noche go under into the deep, dark, black water. I watched from the bank as Noche came out on the other side. He was a bright white, and he had wings. He flew, and behind him were hundreds of black horses. I woke refreshed. I knew I was free from the ongoing fear I felt. I went back to see that doctor, Dr. Bjork, to tell him, and he explained that if we want to change, we need to visualize it, and we can change it through dreams. I hugged and thanked him, this beautiful man, for his wisdom. He has since passed, but I often see him. I hear his soft voice. I'm very grateful. I was always aware of the power of a dream. I now listen to my dreams. I feel they all have meaning. I will leave with a quote, and hope this helps whoever's out there, and I hope you enjoyed it. May you fall asleep in the arms of a dream, so beautiful you'll cry when you awake. That's it. Thank you for listening. I hope that helped you to be more aware of your dreams. Please subscribe to my podcast. You can reach me at Dawn of Wisdom, one word, on Instagram or Facebook. Have a great week filled with awesome dreams.